Welcome back, folks. Path to Recovery Podcast, episode 26 today. Our Fear of Change is the title of this podcast. So this is going to be pretty intense. It's an emotion that a lot of people go through that they're unsure of. You hear it everywhere. It's so hard to change. It hurts to change. I don't want to change. I hate change. What we need to realize is that change isn't the issue, folks. Fear is the issue. If we didn't fear the results of change, change would be easy. If we didn't fear the process of change, it would be easy. If we didn't fear the emotions that come from change, change would be easy. And if we didn't fear the unknown from change, again, change would be easy. So what can we do about change? Well, we need to find the fear within the change. What's truly causing our fear? What's behind the fear? Once you find out what's causing it, find out why you're fearing whatever it is. Do you have some childhood memories coming back whenever you're looking to change? Maybe your folks moved you 17 times and you never were able to establish good friendships. And whenever change comes, you fear it. Do you have a past that brings up the fear? Did you have a dream the other night similar to the situation that you're in and it frightens you? When you connect with the real root cause, you need to accept your part in the fear. Fear is purely driven by our belief that we actually have something to fear. If we believe in fear, then we're surely to receive fear. Once we acknowledge that we create the fear and nothing outside of us can ever create our fear, we can learn how to heal from it. Sometimes we even fear the healing, because with healing, we have to change our situation. And then we're back to square one, fearing the change. So let's talk a little bit about the power behind change. First of all, folks, power is not held by change unless we ourselves allow it to have power over us. Nothing in this world can have power over us unless we choose to allow it. So if we want change to have power over us, we'll see the difficulties of that change. But if we refuse to allow change to have any power whatsoever, we can begin to see any changes as a positive one. Even though it may not feel like a positive change at first. Hindsight tends to show us that we apparently needed change to find the true happiness. You can hear people saying it all the time. We've said it all the time. I've said it. Wow, looking back at this situation, if I didn't change, it looked like it could have gotten worse. So now, change can actually be positive or negative, as change can happen in either direction. We sometimes change for the better, or sometimes we change for the worse. Either direction, change seems to hold a heavy weight on us, and for some reason we desire to attach to that weight and to allow it to drag us into fear. Fear of the negative and the positive. It's kind of obvious why we fear negative change, but why would we fear positive change? All right, so I'm going to try and give you an example to consider. Let's say you're not happy with your current job. In fact, you talk negatively about it to your significant other or to your children, your friends, maybe even coworkers. But it kind of pays you well enough to afford your bills and the things in life, like the stuff you get. Yet deep down inside, you're just miserable. You're not happy. Changing to a new job that's going to be something you would love doing, yet it won't pay you more than your current job, and sometimes even less than your current job, that can bring on major fear. So in that example, we would fear losing the ability to pay our bills so that we can have stuff. And more importantly, folks, we would gladly sacrifice our happiness for the sake of not experiencing the potential hardships of change and losing our stuff. That's kind of absurd. We would then have to spend time digging into the cause of our willingness to sacrifice happiness for stuff. How bizarre is that? But that is exactly why we need to work through our doubts within us about change. We need to heal from our fears of change, so that we can progress into a happier state of being. So let's talk about those so-called pains of change. I'm going to share some examples of situations that require change to occur. So scenario 1, changing where you live. This one is pretty hard because we tend to get attached to people and comforts of our surroundings. And when we decide to change where we live, we have to rebuild that comfort. In moving, we lose that certain connection with our friends and family. Losing friends due to moving out of state can be an extremely hard thing to cope with, even in today's social media. There's something special about being able to sit and talk to someone about our daily grind, not to mention finding new friends. And building trust with new friends can be a long process for most people. So do we really want to make that kind of commitment and have to go through another long process of finding those friends? However, we seem to lose focus on the reason or the reasons why we're moving, and we tend to hold emotions towards those things that we're going to be missing. But listen to this. You wouldn't move unless you had little or no choice. You wouldn't leave the comforts of where you are for something you're unsure of unless you were absolutely sure the move was necessary. You wouldn't put the pressures of a move on your family, your kids, your wife or husband unless you had true faith that it was going to be more prosperous. And by true faith, I don't mean hope. I mean having absolute knowing of the positive change coming. Scenario 2, changing from your addiction. There are obvious reasons why this would be a positive change, but we need to focus on the not so obvious pains of change. First of all, addictions can be more than just substance issues. They can be emotional or mental addictions. Cell phone use, that's an addiction. Social media, gossip. We have attachments, deep attachments. Our pets. Sometimes our pets bring us into a deep attachment or an addiction to having the pet. Depression, dysfunctional thoughts. Sex is also a major form of addiction. Not so obvious fears of changing from our addictions can look something like this. If it's a chemical addiction, our withdrawals can be devastating to experience and may require us shutting down everything we know and love in order to recover from it. The changes associated with truly healing from a chemical addictions require long-term hard work. Removing yourself from any contacts you had. Removing yourself from the places you would stay or visit. Removing yourself from the trigger or habit that brought you to the next fix. Those changes seem to outweigh the desire to just stay addicted and to simply just get high again. If it's an emotional addiction, we may need to work on the understanding of why we are so deeply attached to the emotion. Addicted to an abusive relationship, we feel as if we're not worthy of being with anyone else. Addictions to our family, we believe that we're the only ones who can help them or that they're the only ones that can help us. Addicted to social media, we believe that receiving approvals or getting upset over disapprovals defines us on our social media pages. Addiction to depression. When in a depressed state, we tend to get really comfortable with the inevitable outcome and connect deeply with those thoughts of suicide. Now, the third scenario, and probably the hardest change to go through, is a change in who we spend our time with. Whether you're in an addictive state or you seem to be in a healthy state, we become addicted to our friendships, our coworkers, family, and social media, those quote-unquote friends. So when we realize that we need to change who we hang around with, for whatever reason, it brings on terrible fears of things like, who will be our friends next? Who can I trust now? But I need my family. Or my family needs me. They can't survive without me. I can't bear to be without them. I need my BFF. No one will love me like they do. Here's a concept I want you to try and connect with. Transitional change through life can look something like this. When we grow up as children, we gravitate to other people or other children that like the things we like, so we play with them. They provide us a sense of being accepted. They like trucks, so I like trucks, so we play together. When we become teenagers, we find those other teenagers who tend to accept us for who we are. You heard of them, they're called cliques. When we start dating, we tend to steer away from those friends we had as single teens and gravitate towards hanging out with just our boyfriend or girlfriend, a transition that kind of sneaks in on us. When we become adults, we tend to gravitate towards people who are equal in our status. I'm a corporate person, so I must have corporate friends. I'm an artist, so I need to spend time with artistic people. I'm in the military, so I need to hang out with my military buddies. I use drugs, so I need to hang out with other drug users. I drink, so I have to drink with others. If we are single adults, we hang around single friends. Once we get involved with another person, we tend to minimize our time spent with our single friends. Once we get married, we tend to hang out with married people. And then once we have kids, we tend to hang around people that have kids. And of course, once we retire, folks, we tend to hang around retired people. It seems like such a natural process, doesn't it? What I'm getting at here is that we have patterns of placing ourselves around those people that tend to accept us or that we feel comfortable with, and we'll do everything in our power to keep those connections. We become addicted to those outside influences. Once we hit dark times, we find out who our true friends really are anyway. When we change, for whatever the reason is, we find out who will go through those changes with us. When push comes to shove, we find out if our comfort people will walk with us or if they just needed us for their own addictive issues. Sometimes we find that those we were gaining acceptance from are part of the reasons we're in a dark place. Family can tend to make it harder by always wanting to help us. Friends can make it harder by telling us to just get over it. Our comfort friends might tell us to just go out and party, go get high. What we need to do is find the reasons why we are in our dark places and to make changes to get out of it. We didn't just plop into a dark night of the soul, folks. It took choices, actions, and time to get us there. So we have to understand that it will take choices, actions, and time to get us out. But we can't fix what we've created with a certain mindset. In other words, if I have dysfunctional mindset, I can't fix my dysfunctional mindset with dysfunctional mind. Now, change is something required in life to heal from our dark nights. It usually requires drastic change to heal. When we apply drastic changes, we will see a change in the people we used to depend on, or that depended on us. We will lose friends, and quite possibly family, because they don't know how to cope with the changes we're going through. It's not an easy process to walk through, but sometimes we need it to happen. Sometimes we have to remove ourselves from the addictive behaviors that are around us in order for those behaviors to be weeded out. When others are addicted to us in whatever way they are, they may require us changing more than they will ever know or accept. Codependence is an addiction from both sides of the fence, not just their side. What change can be made to heal from the dark night of the soul? Well, first thing, we have to recognize that we're in it. Well, what exactly is this? I'll try and sum it up like this, folks. The dark night of the soul is kind of like a time period that each human is going to experience where it will feel like their entire life is flipping or has already flopped. And what used to be right feels wrong, and what used to feel wrong feels right. It can be losing a job, a marriage, a pet. It could be struggles within your spiritual understanding, losing your faith in your God, losing faith in yourself. It could be a physical injury that just tears you apart, mental and emotional battles, suicidal thoughts, and all sorts of things like that. Or it could be all of those things wrapped up into a year or two of struggle and pain. It's not just one thing that happens. When a dark night comes along, it feels like everything is falling apart. As with any addictive recovery process, it's going to take time to heal and strict dedication to make the change. This can be where we leave all our friends, our family, employment, in order to work on our healing. I can make it sound real simple. It all starts from our belief system. What you think every day, the words you speak every day, the emotions you feel every day, and your actions you take every day. They all stem from what we believe about ourselves. The Path to Recovery podcast series delves deeply into the understanding of just where the issues are and how to heal from them. I also have a podcast called Cognitive Awareness with a Touch of God. That one focuses directly on the process of healing from our dark issues through the retraining of our brain. There's titles like Where is the Problem? Learning about levels of emotions. What is a mask and why do we use them? Cognitive distortions. Coping with triggers. What are our priorities in life? What is abuse? And why do I feel alone? And of course, creating healthy boundaries. So change can be challenging if we choose it to be. Our level of desire will dictate how we heal, or if we heal at all. Without proper intentions being applied to anything we do, we're going to fall short of success. Change cannot be made with a half-hearted effort. We have to give it everything we have and dig deeper than we have ever wanted to in order to find the root cause of the pain and the need for change. So both of those two podcast series, Path to Recovery, which this is a part of, as well as the Cognitive Awareness with the Touch of God, both of those podcast series delve deep into the healing process. So take a listen to the other episodes that I have in those podcasts. Start from the beginning of each of them and run through it, and this should help you better cope and deal with changes in life. And it might even help you be able to help others when you're changing, how they can change with you, or how they'll basically just kind of fade away. Thank you very much, folks, for listening in. I appreciate your time and your energy. I love the fact that you're here listening, and I hope that you walk in God and that we get to see you or spend time with you through these podcasts. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Talk to you next time. Thank you again for listening in today, folks. Your time and energy is greatly appreciated. Please feel free to download these episodes, favorite them, share them, and even visit my YouTube channel, Yava-Coco Productions, for all the podcast playlists and for some insanely cool videos of my hiking adventures that I do in Sedona. That all helps me to continue to bring you more exciting podcasts and videos, both for healing, spirituality, as well as just kind of amazing videos of Sedona, Arizona. For those of you wanting to dig in a little deeper, maybe you're struggling with some inner issues, or you're in a recovery path from an addiction, or just looking for inspirational discussions about healing, check out all of my podcasts on your favorite podcast players. Titles like Path to Recovery Podcast, Cognitive Awareness with a Touch of God Podcast, Bear Clan's Hiking Sedona Podcast, and yes, I even have one called Star Wars, The Bear Awakens Podcast. We are here to help you, and what we're trying to do is offer you things that can help you for free. Plus, there's entertainment involved with a lot of these anyway. So thank you again, folks. God bless you, and I hope to see you on the rocks.